respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, beloved listeners. There are moments in life when time stands still and quietly asks you a question you have been avoiding for years. What if everything you believed about money, about success, about destiny, was incomplete? What if the difference between struggle and abundance was not luck, not resources, but a way of thinking so simple, yet so rare, that only a few ever truly understand it? And what if I told you that somewhere in the desert, where there was once nothing but sand, heat, and silence, a place rewrote its destiny, not by chance, but by choice? Today, we are not just talking about wealth. We are talking about a mindset, a quiet, disciplined way of thinking that turned emptiness into opportunity and vision into reality. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they lack money. They fail because they never learn how to think about money. I have seen people, hardworking, honest, sincere, waking up early, sleeping late, giving their best years to survival, yet still feeling stuck, still wondering why life never changes. And I have also seen people with no extraordinary talent, no perfect timing, no lucky break, quietly building something, step by step, year after years, until one day, the world calls them successful. So what changed? Not their luck, not their environment, but their relationship with time and their understanding of value. You see, most of us grow up believing that money is something you earn, something you chase, something you spend. But very few are taught that money is something you build patiently, intentionally, almost invisibly. There was a time when even the wealthiest places we admire today had nothing, no skyscrapers, no global attention, no endless streams of income, just uncertainty, risk, and a choice to think differently. And that is where the story begins. Because what made that desert rise was not oil alone. In fact, oil was only the beginning, a small window of opportunity. The real transformation came from something far more powerful, far more rare, the ability to see the future before it arrives. Most people, when they receive money, they spend it to improve their present. A better phone, a bigger house, a more comfortable life. And there is nothing wrong with comfort, but comfort, if not controlled, becomes a silent trap. Because while you are improving your present, you may be quietly sacrificing your future. Now think about this carefully. What if instead of spending every dollar to look successful, you used it to become successful? What if instead of chasing fast rewards, you built slow, lasting wealth? That is where everything begins to change. In life, the hardest thing is not earning money. It is resisting the urge to spend it. It is having the patience to say, not today, not yet. I am building something bigger. There are people listening right now who know exactly what I mean. You have had opportunities, small chances, little moments where you could have saved, invested, started something. But fear whispered, what if it fails? And comfort whispered, you deserve to enjoy this now. And slowly, without realizing it, years passed. This is not your fault, because no one teaches us the cost of delay. No one shows us how small decisions, repeated daily, quietly shape our entire future. You see, wealth is not built in big moments. It is built in small, almost invisible decisions. Saving when it's easier to spend, learning when it's easier to scroll, investing when others are doubting, waiting when others are rushing. This is the difference. There was a time when people doubted that a place with no strong natural advantage could ever become a global center of wealth. They laughed, they questioned, they hesitated. But while others were busy doubting, a few minds were busy planning. They understood something most people ignore: that wealth is not created by what you have, but by how you use what you have. And this lesson applies to every single one of us. You may not have millions. You may not have perfect conditions. You may not even feel ready. But you have something far more valuable. You have time. And time, when combined with discipline, becomes unstoppable. I remember a young man who once said, "I will start investing when I earn more." Years later, he was still saying the same thing. Because the truth is, waiting does not create readiness. Action does. And this is where most journeys quietly end, before they even begin. We wait for confidence. We wait for perfect timing. We wait for guarantees. But life never offers guarantees. The people who build something meaningful are not the ones who feel ready. They are the ones who move forward, despite not feeling ready. And this is exactly what changed everything. Instead of relying on one source of income, they built many. Instead of thinking locally, they thought globally. Instead of focusing on today, they planned for decades ahead. They asked a simple question: what will the world need tomorrow? And while others were busy reacting to the present, they were quietly preparing for the future. This is not luck. This is vision. And vision requires patience, because when you plant a seed today, you will not see the result tomorrow. You must water it, protect it, believe in it, even when nothing seems to be happening. And that is where most people give up. They stop too early. They doubt too soon. They expect results before the process is complete. But those who understand, they keep going, quietly, consistently, without needing applause. Because they know that true wealth is not built in noise. It is built in silence. And as you sit here, listening, reflecting, thinking about your own journey, ask yourself honestly, are you chasing quick money? Or are you building lasting wealth? Because the difference between the two is the difference between stress and freedom, between temporary success and lifelong stability, between reacting to life and designing it. And once you truly understand this, everything begins to change. You begin to see money not as something to hold, but as something to guide, something to direct with quiet intention. And slowly, almost gently, your mindset starts to shift. You stop asking, "How much can I earn this month?" And you begin asking, "What can I build that will still pay me 10 years from now?" That one question changes everything. Because short-term thinking feeds urgency, but long-term thinking builds power. There is a kind of strength, a very quiet one, that comes from delayed gratification, from saying no when everyone else is saying yes, from walking away when something looks exciting but does not align with your future. It is not easy. In fact, it is deeply uncomfortable, because the world we live in rewards speed, celebrates quick wins, and glorifies instant success. But real wealth does not grow in speed. It grows in patience. There are nights when you will feel like nothing is working, days when your efforts will seem invisible, moments when you will question your own path. And in those moments, most people turn back. They return to comfort, to familiarity, to the illusion of safety. But those who truly understand the game, they stay. They stay when it's boring. They stay when it's slow. They stay when there is no immediate reward. Because they know something others don't. That consistency is more powerful than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a week. Very few can remain disciplined for years. And wealth quietly chooses those few. There is also a hidden truth, one that is rarely spoken, that building something meaningful will cost you not just money, but comfort, time, and sometimes even relationships. You will miss out on things. You will say no to moments others enjoy. You will choose discipline when your heart wants ease, and it will feel unfair at times. But what you are really doing is making a trade, a silent, powerful trade. You are giving up temporary pleasure for permanent freedom, and that is a decision very few have the courage to make, because it requires faith. Faith in a future you cannot yet see, faith in a process that has not yet rewarded you, and most importantly, faith in yourself. There is a certain calmness that begins to develop within you when you stop chasing results and start trusting the process. You no longer feel desperate. You no longer compare your journey with others. You no longer panic when things move slowly, because deep inside, you understand that slow progress is still progress. And this is where your strength becomes different. Not loud, not visible, not dramatic, but steady, grounded, and unshakable. You begin to value clarity over excitement, discipline over motivation, consistency over talent. And as this mindset deepens, something remarkable happens. Opportunities that once seemed invisible start appearing. Patterns that once felt confusing start making sense. Decisions that once felt difficult become simple, because you are no longer reacting. You are thinking, and thinking with patience is a rare advantage. You start to realize that the real edge in wealth is not information, it is behavior. Everyone knows they should save. Everyone knows they should invest. Everyone knows they should think long-term. But very few actually do it. Because knowledge is easy. Execution is rare. And that is why those who quietly execute eventually stand apart, not because they are smarter, but because they are steadier. They don't rush. They don't panic. They don't chase every new trend. They move slowly, carefully, intentionally, like someone planting seeds, knowing that the harvest will come, not today, but one day. And when that day comes, it will not be loud. It will not be sudden. It will feel natural, as if everything unfolded exactly the way it was meant to. And in that moment, you will look back at all the doubts, all the delays, all the silent struggles, and you will understand that nothing was wasted. Every small effort, every disciplined choice, every patient decision was quietly building something far greater than you could see. And that realization is where true confidence is born, not the kind that needs validation, but the kind that comes from knowing. You stayed the course, and when you reach that quiet understanding, something within you finally softens. You no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You no longer chase attention or measure your worth by numbers on a screen, because deep inside, you have discovered a different kind of wealth, a wealth that is not just in your bank account, but in your clarity, your patience, your ability to remain steady when the world is rushing. And this is where life begins to feel lighter, not because everything is easy, but because you are no longer fighting yourself. You have made peace with time. You trust the process. You understand that growth is quiet, and success is often invisible, until it isn't. There is a certain stillness that comes when you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. When you stop asking, why not me, and start saying, I am on my way. That shift, so small, yet so powerful, changes the entire direction of your life. You begin to move with intention, not urgency, with purpose, not pressure. And slowly, the things you once chased begin to come toward you. Opportunities, connections, stability. Not because you forced them, but because you became the kind of person who was ready for them. This is the part no one talks about. That before wealth enters your life, it tests your discipline. Before success becomes visible, it observes your consistency. Before abundance arrives, it questions your patience. And only when you pass these silent tests does it begin to unfold, not all at once, but steadily, gracefully, in a way that feels earned, not given. You will notice it in small ways, a sense of control over your decisions, a freedom from constant financial stress, a calm confidence that does not shake easily. And one day, you will sit quietly, maybe in a moment no one else notices, and you will realize that the person who once feared starting, who once doubted every step, who once felt stuck and uncertain, is no longer there. In their place is someone patient, someone disciplined, someone who understands that true wealth is not built overnight, but over time, with intention and unwavering belief. And in that moment, you will not feel proud in a loud way. You will feel grateful, grateful for the struggles that shaped you, for the delays that taught you patience, for the silence that strengthened your focus, because now you see clearly that wealth was never just about money. It was about becoming someone who thinks long-term, who acts with purpose, who remains calm, even when the path is uncertain. And once you become that person, wealth, in all its forms, financial, emotional, spiritual, begins to flow naturally into your life. Not as a destination, but as a reflection of who you have become. Then listen closely, dear family of dreamers, because this is where everything comes together. Not in noise, not in excitement, but in a quiet truth that has been there all along. We often spend our lives searching for the perfect opportunity, the perfect idea, the perfect moment to begin. But what if the real secret was never out there? What if it was always within you? The discipline to wait, the courage to start, the patience to continue. These are not grand qualities. They are simple, almost ordinary, and yet, when practiced consistently, they create extraordinary lives. You see, the story we reflected on was never really about a place. It was about a mindset, a way of thinking that refuses to settle for short-term comfort, a way of living that values the future more than the present temptation. And the most beautiful part is that this mindset is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone who is willing to slow down and think differently. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need a large starting point. You do not need to have everything figured out. All you need is a decision, a quiet, no firm, deeply personal decision, that from this moment on, you will respect your time, you will guide your money with intention, you will choose growth over comfort, and you will keep going, even when no one is watching. Because understand this, the world often celebrates outcomes, but life rewards processes. And when you fall in love with the process, with learning, building, improving, day by day, success stops being something you chase and becomes something you attract. There will still be challenges. There will still be moments of doubt, but they will no longer break you, because you will know, deep within, that you are not lost. You are building, and building takes time. So do not rush your journey. Do not compare your path. Do not let temporary setbacks convince you to stop. Instead, move forward, quietly, steadily, patiently. Trust that every small step you take today is shaping a future you cannot yet fully see. And one day, without warning, you will arrive at a place, not just of financial stability, but of inner peace, where your mind is calm, your choices are clear, and your life feels aligned. And in that moment, you will understand that true abundance, was never just about having more. It was about becoming more disciplined, more patient, more aware. Because when you become that person, wealth is no longer something you hope for. It becomes something you are ready for. So walk your path with vision in your heart, patience in your actions, and peace in your soul. And let time do what it always does. Reward those who never gave up.